today's episode, we're going to start off with a real sport here. I'm just kidding.
Baseball?
No.
Basketball?
No, we're talking about...
Cross?
No, we're talking about football, but not the
I
football.
love the NFL.
No, not that kind of
Oh,
football.
we're going to talk about the XFL? No,
Dwayne?
We do need to talk about that.
That's
But,
on here, bro.
okay, perfect. But, no, not that football. I'm talking about football. MLS Is Back tournament. We are now in the semi-finals of the MLS Is Back tournament. We have the underdog, the Cinderella story, Orlando City, taking on what's probably the best team left in the tournament field in Minnesota United. And on the other side, we got a really good Philadelphia Union team against a team I think that's overachieving a little bit, but the Portland Timbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, should I just kind of talk
So
about
who's going to win?
So, I'll kind of break it down. So, Orlando got to this point basically because, first off, their well coach, Oscar Pareja, is proven he's a top 5 coach in Major League Soccer. They have seemed to put together this really great format of press defending, just go quick on the fast break. That's kind of their style of offense. It's led to a lot of goals. Chris Mueller, Luis Nani, and this is the team's already doing very well without even having Dom Dwyer in there at the moment, who hasn't been playing very well this tournament, to be honest, though. But this is an Orlando team that's seen to find their stride offensively. They are putting chances. They did against LAFC, and they only had the one goal, but they easily could have had a lot more. And LAFC is probably one of, if not the best team in Major League Soccer. Minnesota United are one of, if not the most complete teams in the league. Columbus is probably more complete, but Minnesota's proven they have the best defense in Major League Soccer. Their best defender, Nico Parra, who was Defender of the Year last year, decided not to play in this tournament, but Jose Aja has been playing incredibly well. Roman Metzner suffered an injury, but what?
I hate the ending of Pelicans games.
They can never just win outright. They gotta make it fun.
Anyways.
But Jose Aja's been playing really good in replacement. Roman Metzner was hurt, which is now hurt, which is a big loss. But Asani Dodson filled that left back role incredibly well. In fact, got man of the match because he is just really good. He can play both midfielder and now he can play left back. So that's all good. I would like to see more goal-wise. Luis Amarilla suffered an injury in warm-ups, and he just hasn't been the same player. He did have a goal, though, against San Jose, so that's hopefully a step in the right direction. But, Minnesota's been managing the storm well. Robin Lode's been playing really well over the last couple of games. We're creating offensive chances with Ethan Finley on the wide side. He's opening up things for the team there. We're just kind of getting goals from unlikely places, and honestly, it doesn't really matter how you get them as long as you get them, right? So Minnesota just has always had a good format to play. I think Adrian Heath's not a great, but a good coach. They had a really good game plan against San Jose, widening out the field, pressing so San Jose couldn't go on the fast break, which was pretty much their style of play throughout the whole tournament. And then kind of same thing with Philadelphia Union. Solid defensively, well coached. And then Portland is just the attacking offensive, present with Diego Valeri, Jeremy Abobasi, Sebastian Blanco, who's probably going to be in the best 11 for the MLS Is Back tournament, which is basically the all MLS tournament team. They call it the best 11. But we're going to see some good matchups, I think. Some really good games, I think.
So let's jump back, and we'll start with Orlando and Minnesota. What is your prediction?
I had to pull up the score. I know who's going to win, though. So Orlando's been on a really good run. But Minnesota United, I think, is going to have a better game plan for them as opposed to them having for us. Minnesota is going to have the defense to slow down this perennial attack in Orlando. So I trust that they're going to be able to do it because they have yet to prove me wrong up to this point. I just don't see them slowing down at any given point defensively. I think could be a low-scoring game. I think Minnesota United's chances may not be high. I think they could get a lot of shots on goal, but they've just been having an issue finishing. I could see Minnesota blowing Orlando out of the water, but I could also see them this being a close game. But honestly, I think Minnesota will kind of just prove that they're the better team. So once I'm going to pull up my score, I think Minnesota is going to win 2-0. That is my prediction. I think Orlando, what's got them to this point, won't be there in this game, and then Minnesota's going to get a couple of cheap goals, but goals that will matter.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit closer scoring game. I think definitely that Minnesota is going to have the edge here. I do have them winning 3-2. I do think Orlando will get tricky and score a couple goals, but I think Minnesota will be able to prevail, winning 3-2.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited that. By the way, as a fan, I'm just so giddy that I'm now talking about them being the best team in MLS. It makes me very happy.
It must be weird talking about a Minnesota team as the best in any sport.
Except for WNBA.
Except for WNBA.
But guess what? I don't watch WNBA.
You should start.
I actually have.
Next month.
Sabrina Ionescu has been my gal. But
You're a Liberty fan now?
I am, but she's hurt, so.
I'm also a Liberty fan that is easily swayed.
So, my take on the Orlando City versus Minnesota United is that Magic's still going to be there, but then a last second goal is going to happen from Minnesota United.
Ooh,
It's just all of the Magic's just going to get used up for the majority of the game, and then last second just
like Minnesota, Orlando will have so many. They'll probably look like the better team, but Minnesota will just edge them out at the end.
Is it called one-timers in soccer too?
I mean, in a sense, what do you describe the play?
So what's gonna happen? Who's your main scorer? I forgot his name.
Luis Amarilla is our main striker.
Yeah. So he is gonna be coming in. They're gonna be like, oh shit, he's gonna score, and he's going to last second do a pass across the horizontal of the goal box there.
Yeah.
And chilling right outside is going to be somebody that doesn't get a lot of hype, and they're gonna go bop and kick it in for a goal. There's gonna be 30 seconds left.
I love that.
Alright, well, my game's not even close.
Love that.
My game's kind of high scoring. I have 4-1 Minnesota. Minnesota's the better team, and Orlando's dreams are going to be crushed.
Suck it. Alright, so then, for Philadelphia Union versus Portland Timbers, this is going to be an interesting matchup here. I'm going to give the edge to Philadelphia. They are a young but extremely dynamic team. Mark McKenzie is leading a really, really good defensive-minded team. Brendon Aronson has been proven he's a star, and he's getting a lot of European attention. He, and along with Alejandro Bedoya, I think they're going to just continue to lead a fast-paced midfield attack that Portland has proven that they may not be able to handle at times. But Portland is a very fast, high-scoring team, so I feel like they could cause them fits. But it took them a while to get going against NYCFC, who I don't think has, outside of Ben Swan and Anton Tinnerholm, I don't think that they're that great defensively. I really don't. So I do have Philadelphia winning. I think it's going to be a couple of late goals down the stretch, but Philadelphia wins 3-1.
It seems like with both of these games here, we have a pretty consensus on who's going to win both games. I also have Philly winning this game. I have the score being a little higher, 4-2. I think Philly is going to be probably 2-2 for most of the game, but Philly's going to come away with it at the end.
Nice.
I think that this one's going to be more low scoring because it just seems like the majority of soccer games I've seen, as long as they weren't the U.S. women's national team, have been low scoring.
Yeah.
So if you look at the majority of my predictions, they're all pretty low scoring.
This matchup certainly is a lot better than Orlando, Minnesota. That is for sure. Minnesota on paper should, in theory, should blow out Orlando.
But the magic, that's
the magic, and that's just it. It's just the magic.
But anyways, It's gonna be 1-1 going into like the last 10 minutes. Like there's gonna be an early goal from Philadelphia, and then kind of at like that halfway point at that 40-minute mark, there's gonna be a goal from Portland to knock things up, and then Brendon, what's his last name?
Aronson.
He's gonna get the game winner.
I can see it.
Alright, so mine's going to start out 2-0, Portland.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Philly's going to come back.
Oh!
Tie it up. Philly's going to go ahead. 3-2. Portland's going to tie it back up.
Oh!
30 seconds to spare.
That'd be a fucking awesome game, by the way.
They're going into a shootout.
Oh!
And Philly's going to get the win.
Ooh.
5-4.
Ooh.
It's going to be close.
I can see that. I can see them
Coming
going
down
to
to
shootout.
last goals.
That would be a thriller. I would love it. Like if I was as a neutral, I would love that game if that happened. That'd be great.
So it seems the consensus is going to be Minnesota and Philadelphia in the finals.
Yeah.
So why don't you go first, Noah, and say if you were to predict the winner now, who would it be?
You know, I honestly believe Minnesota is the best team left in this tournament. Philadelphia is easily number 2. I think they both have the same set of strategics. Advantage defensively goes to Minnesota, so I think that really stout midfield by Philadelphia, along with can't think of his name. Shoot, it's like a weird foreign name. It starts with an M. I know that, but he's quite good. Trust me. But I think that, again, defensively, they're going to have that ability to just shut them down. It's going to be a close game because I think they're both just very evenly matched teams. Both don't have that one main guy you can go to score, or at least as of right now they don't. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think its chances are going to come far and few between. I think set pieces are going to be important because we're going to have 2 of the best free kick takers in the league, and John Gregish from Minnesota and Jacob Glesnes of Philadelphia Union. Those are going to be important. I think Minnesota is going to get a set piece goal in this game. I think Minnesota wins 2-1, and they win the MLS Is Back tournament and secure a CONCACAF Champions League spot. I'm smiling because I hope it happens. I'd be so happy.
So
And Minnesota wins their first trophy being in the MLS.
My prediction, I am the only one to pick Philadelphia in this one. I decided to go against the curve, against what everybody else is saying. I think when it comes down to the finals, and I actually have to do a higher scoring game. I think defense is going to go out the window, and I think this is going to be a high scoring game.
Damn.
I think Philadelphia is going to clinch it with a last second goal, but it's going to be a high scoring 5-4 Philadelphia.
I wouldn't hate that.
Casper Brisbelko. That's his name.
It's going to be a great
That
finals either
doesn't
way.
start with M at all.
It doesn't. No, because I was thinking of Harris Medunaheinen, but he plays for Cincinnati now. But Casper Brisbelko, he's good.
Go!
Pelicans are going to secure
They
the
put
dub.
Zion on with 2 minutes left.
Wow. Wow. See?
They're
exactly.
learning.
They're learning.
I'll go with my score here while I'm talking off subject. So, I'm a big fan of the Minnesota Loons because they're local-ish, and I like their colors, and I like their duck thing. Their loon.
It's a loon.
I like their loon.
By the way, they
logo.
and they have the best logo in sports. By the way, their logo is dope.
So,
They're dope.
I think it's Minnesota's year, not just in soccer, but in a couple other sports as well. And so I have Minnesota winning 4-2.
Before we continue, I just want to say something to Minnesota, just if they can hear me. You are not the underdogs anymore. Accept the fact that you are an elite soccer team.
You look at their Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's ridiculous right now. Okay, so backstory. So Adrian Heath tries to build up that no one gives Minnesota a chance. No one, gives a shot for Minnesota. They're the underdogs. And for a while, I kind of bought into it because as a Minnesota, for most of my teams being Minnesota, I'm not used to Minnesota teams being good. I always expect us as being the underdogs. So that's a fair thing, right?
Yeah.
And Vegas had us as huge underdogs against Columbus, huge underdogs. And we beat them. And then they were starting to talk about, okay, you guys can't be called underdogs, and I'm kind of sitting there oh, yeah, sure we can. Then we played San Jose, and we kicked their ass, 4-1. And now I'm just on the side you know what? We need to stop giving us this underdog label. We need to start embracing these expectations that we are Minnesota is a damn good team. Minnesota is a top 3 team in Major League Soccer right now. They are probably they're probably the most complete team in Major League Soccer. Like, they have proven they can beat anybody in the league right now. They beat prime LAF. They beat LAFC last year, who was a record-setting team last year, and drew with them, so they didn't lose to LAFC. Like, they're just a good team, and they're getting better. Like, they're just getting better. They just signed a couple of players.
Nice.
They signed a new left back. I think his name's Diaby, and then they're going to sign Emmanuel Reynoso from Boca Juniors, who's going to be a perennial attacking winger that we need. Like, this team is really good, and I'm now on a boat of just like, you know what, fuck it. We are the best team in Major League Soccer. You can convince me otherwise, but we are the best team. Good luck trying to beat us. We are not underdogs anymore. We're coming for that top dog spot.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
That being said, Brendon.
I also am on the Minnesota United because, I'll be honest with you, most of the stuff I know about soccer I learned from Noah, so probably got a little bit
bias.
got a little bit of a skew here. But here's the shocker. Brendon
Aronson.
Yep. He is going to have both of the goals for Philadelphia in a 3-2 game with Minnesota game.
Oh, woo! Is it going to start up with Philly being up?
Or
is
so
Minnesota
it's gonna go Minnesota,
Okay.
and then it's gonna go 2 unanswered Brendon Aronson goals, and then Minnesota's gonna go 2 unanswered. So it's gonna go 1, then 2 from the other side, then 2 from Minnesota. Epic stories.
Well, that's soccer for you.
Yeah.
We're kicking it.
If you guys think we are totally wrong, just feel free to
let
hit
us know.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Twitter,
we'll be putting
Instagram.
out our predictions.
You think we know nothing about soccer? You're probably right. Hit us up. Tell us
Well, except for
tell us
Noah.
real.
Yeah, if you have a problem with Noah over here, hit his podcast up. Don't hit us up. We want good publicity.
It's our goal to get good publicity.
It's exactly. Moving on here, our boy Zion Williamson just picked up the victory over Ja, claiming the rights to Rookie of the Year by beating him in a matchup. But the Pelicans just beat the Grizzlies by 10 points. Originally, the Pelicans were struggling a little bit in the bubble. Zion was on a restriction. Of course, that's because Zion had left the bubble for family issues. They didn't know if he was going to be back, and so he missed the training area or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they're easing him back into the game. This year, this game, he was back. He played 24 minutes. A high, I think almost a season high, actually, believe it or not. He got the win. Pelicans are getting back up there to fight for that 8th seed. They still haven't released the exact plans for what they're doing, have they?
For
the battle of the 8th seed?
No, they have.
It's not just the 8th seed getting it automatically.
Well, no. So what's going to happen is, the 9 seed, if they are less than 4 games back, they'll do a play-in series. But the 9 seed has to win twice, as opposed to the 8 seed that just has to win once.
Yeah.
So let's say the 9 seed wins the first game, but if the 8 seed wins the second game, they are in.
So how do they determine, say, the Pelicans have the same record as, who would it be, the Spurs or the Blazers?
The Blazers.
The Blazers. Say the Blazers and the Pelicans have the same, would they have to battle it out, or would they just go by stats?
Nope, it would go by either head-to-head matchup or winning percentage.
Okay.
Because obviously all these teams have played a different amount of games before the bubble, so they'll go by winning percentage or head-to-head match. I'm not sure which one it is, though.
So that means that the Zions would probably be out.
Zion, yeah.
Sadly. I still have hope that Zion's going to get to play the Lakers and beat LeBron 2 games and then be poorly managed and lose the series. But basketball, guys, it's great.
Yeah.
The bubble is fantastic.
The bubble's a good idea, except for where people leave it.
Yeah.
Which is the problem of a different league, which we'll be talking about
In a minute or two, yeah.
You're talking about LeBron James, though.
Yeah.
The Lakers also seem to be riding the struggle bus against the Raptors.
Right, and part of it, you can say part of it is because their team chemistry isn't all that great. They got new pieces that haven't been with the team before the whole bubble started and stuff. But I don't know. I think the Lakers are just getting outplayed in a way. They're getting close, and of course it's LeBron.
It's LeBron.
What can you expect? It's LeBron, Anthony Davis.
Never
But
bet
LeBron,
against LeBron.
I don't think LeBron has gotten into playoff mode yet. Obviously, you can kind of tell. But I just, with the struggle, I don't see them winning. Before, if you go back in the archives, I felt they were going to win the bubble. It was either going to be LeBron or Zion. Biased, obviously, for Zion.
Yeah.
But after watching them play, I just don't see it happening anymore.
Yeah, obviously they did struggle against the Raptors. I am not maybe not the biggest basketball expert, but I would probably say never bet against LeBron. He's considered one of the greatest of all time for a reason. I do still think the Lakers are going to have a good chance here to win the bubble, but they're going to have to get through a different LA team.
Yeah, Clippers.
The Clippers.
Clippers. They've been getting it done, man. They beat the Lakers in a controversial ending there, but then they easily beat the Pelicans. And the Clippers, even without Montrezl Harrell, without Lou Williams, they're showing that they're one of the top teams in the NBA, and I'm loving it. They're getting it done, and I'm happy to say LA could get a championship. Just not the Lakers, maybe the Clippers. You never know. But while we're talking about that, the Rockets, James Harden and Russell Westbrook, they've been on like they never left, padding their stats up like no tomorrow.
Wow.
They're winning me some FanDuel money, so I'm not complaining. But the Rockets are looking decent for their small team.
Almost like I predicted this. I said the Rockets would benefit the most from the bubble because the one thing we know about Harden and Westbrook is they just go hard all the time, and now they're going to get all this rest back. They're going to get all this rest, and they're going to be in full season mode in just the start of the playoffs, something that they've never experienced before. You know, and kind of a human aspect. You know, being away makes the heart grow fonder, and first off, they're just a great shooting team. Like that, it helps if you're a small ball team that can shoot, and the Rockets can do that. And they're fully rested. Their two best players are fully rested and are playing with a motivation that we haven't seen yet because they actually feel like they can win the title. I don't think they will because I think the small ball lineup will get to them at some point when they play a good defense team like the Clippers, or the Lakers, or even the Nuggets even. But I said this would happen. They're going to be rested. Westbrook and Harden are going to play insanely good in this bubble. And everything I've said has been right so far.
And this would be a perfect transition to somewhere else, but we still have a lot more basketball to talk about.
You can move on if you want.
Well, speaking of everything somebody says being right now, the NHL.
Oh, hockey or horse hockey, horse league, the National Horse League.
National Horse League.
The NHL.
Yeah.
So
hey, I almost won money off the horses the other day, but then I didn't win money.
I tried to do a FanDuel thing with that free money they gave everybody.
$10, I love it. Shout out to FanDuel.
I think I made my money back with the NBA when I did.
Nice.
hey, because of that, does that technically make them a sponsor? Because they're giving you money, and
they didn't give me
money, and
they didn't give the podcast money.
They did.
Yeah, but if they
we
give,
love FanDuel. FanDuel's our best friend. Pat McAfee also loves FanDuel. Shout out to Pat McAfee. He got married this weekend.
Guess what? I'm downloading the app right now.
Hey! You'll love it.
I think I will, actually.
I got addicted. A lot of money goes into that FanDuel.
So do they give you like $10 to start out? Is that?
Yep.
Oh my god, that's awesome! I'm gonna make some bets right now.
Yeah, you should.
I am going to.
Update: I did lose $1.25.
Oh man,
Betting.
don't worry, I I'm a big loser all the time.
I would wait till
but-
NFL comes back and I can actually make some good bets. I just guess with the NBA.
No, I've been guessing with the MLB, and while we're talking about it, the NHL. I've been guessing big with the NHL. The NHL right now, actually, let's see if I'm winning anything. No, I am not winning anything. But we got to see what Connor McDavid does later today.
Well, probably not much. 'Cause he is
Carey
not looking
Price.
good.
It's got me 6.4.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because Carey Price, I was like, yo, you got to put respect on that man's name. And I literally, there was one point
The rest of these motherfuckers have 0 points.
at the end of the first quarter of the Canadiens-Penguins game, the Canadiens only had 3 shots on goal and a goal, and the Penguins had like 12 shots on goal with no goals. And I'm like, that's the Carey Price effect.
He do be one of the best goalies in the league.
Now, right now, the Penguins have like 1 million shots on goal, and they have 15, top of the second, and one's gone in. Canadians have not yet tied it up, so the Penguins are winning this game. But nonetheless, I did say that Canadians are going to be a lot tougher than people think, and they ended up stealing a win. Another thing I said, Blackhawks have been statistically good against the Oilers this season.
What?
We saw that when they put up 6 goals against the Oilers, giving your man, Connor McDavid, a -3 in the plus-minus category.
And quite a shocking event there.
Yeah, I mean,
Not expecting it.
the Oilers definitely made a comeback late in the third period with a couple unanswered goals due to some power plays. So I hope tonight that the Blackhawks can just be a little bit more disciplined and not go to the box as much, because that's just where the Oilers have the best power play in the NHL. Before this, it's still really good. Blackhawks have statistically one of the worst power plays, and they put up 3 for 5, which is good. They also have one of the most mediocre penalty kills, which obviously was exploited. But I still am on that hype train that Blackhawks can pull another win.
Well,
Granted,
since they're
biased.
rivals, they are kind of rivals, Chicago and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, since they're rivals, and I already like the Twins, and I'm already liking the Loons. The Wild won the other day.
They did.
yesterday.
They
So
were
I'm going with the
playing.
Wild.
In a shutout.
In a shutout, even better.
Yep. And an interesting thing that happened today is the Capitals and the Lightning went into double overtime
What?
in the
I
round.
love the
robin.
Lightning. Did they win?
Yes,
Yeah,
they did.
the Lightning did
Let's
win.
go.
And the Golden Knights beat the Stars 5-3.
Wow.
Wow.
It was
That
a
Vegas.
nail biter. In the last 5 minutes,
Golden
it's
Knights.
tied 3-3.
Golden Knights can win it all. I told you.
Yeah.
They might. Canes are kind of beating up on the Rangers,
Ooh,
which
sad.
I said the Canes would win, and they did. I said the Flames would win the other night, and they did, but the Jets came back earlier today and knotted the series. But all in all, we just saw a lot of, like, kind of the underdogs, because we saw the Canadians win, we saw the Blackhawks win, and then on Sunday we saw the Coyotes win. Also in the round robin, we saw the Flyers beat the Bruins, which the Bruins are looking incredible. We saw the Avalanche beat the Blues, which, I mean, that's a 1-2, but nonetheless. And then, obviously, the Wild winning 3-0 against the Canucks was unexpected as well. So, hockey is being awesome, as we all expected.
Ain't no stopping me. No.
Ah, yes, hockey.
Hockey.
The-
Hey, in their bubble, of the 7,013 COVID tests administered since July 17th, guess how many positives there were?
Zero.
0. That's
Huh.
only doing it right.
It's almost like a bubble system works.
Whoa, who would have thought? You know, though, the next thing we're going to talk about kind of has had the opposite. Probably 7,000 positive tests.
It's
Or
almost
the
like
MLB.
it's almost like if
Yeah.
you make everybody quarantine, COVID doesn't spread that fast.
Really?
Huh?
Who's been
Well-
not in my America?
Well, what if we quarantine, but then we as a whole team go to a jam-packed casino for a while? What happens
Whoa.
then?
Then you're a baseball player.
You're on the Cardinals.
Yeah. So the
How good to
MLB
be to do FanDuel?
To do regular FanDuel, 18 to do FanDuel Sportsbook 21.
Am I on the right one?
Which one are you on?
I don't know. I just did the FanDuel.
Yeah, you're on the right one.
So
I did
if
my birthday.
if you
It's,
didn't catch any of
Oh,
our
sure did.
hints, the MLB has not been doing a very good job with COVID recently.
No.
Teams are going out, they're partying, they're going to casinos, and they're getting COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird, yeah.
There's been so many canceled series of games or postponed, and in the 60-game season, you can't
Yeah.
be having that. Rob Manfred made a statement saying that he was going to shut it back down if they went out, but then he went and contradicted himself the next day and kind of blamed it on the players and say, well, the players want it. If that's what the players want, that's what the players get. You know, and kind of that way, just kind of like his douchey, it's a piece of metal attitude.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the MLB's success is going to be important for the NFL because then the NFL is also not doing a bubble, and I think we're seeing with the MLB is these players aren't taking it seriously and they're getting COVID, and the same thing is going to happen in the NFL. You got NFL players going out partying every night, they're going to casinos, they're going to whatever, they're going to get COVID. It's just going to happen. So hopefully we have a lot of cases right now, but hopefully this will show players that they have to take it more seriously, and hopefully we'll have less cases going forth with both the MLB and the NFL.
Right. But, while we're talking about the MLB, there are a couple teams that are doing great. Aren't having many positive tests. You know, like Minnesota. Just kind of, you know... The Yankees really haven't done anything bad. And you think they're the Yankees. You think they, you know, all these positive tests, they're in New York.
Yeah, they're in a hot spot too.
but they're following procedures.
It's all business for the Yankees. Strictly business. That's just how they've always approached it. Players have never really been, despite them, like the Mets have always just kind of been that fun team or whatever. They kind of get in trouble for stuff like that.
Well, the Mets, but the Mets are kind of sucking it up.
Yeah. The Yankees are just strictly business. That's how they've always operated, and that's just how they're approaching it. They view themselves as World Series contenders, as they should, and they're actually taking it seriously. Notice all the teams that haven't fucked up majorly are actual title contenders.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then the Cubs.
Yeah, Cubs are playoff contenders, but they're not title contenders. But I get you. But they are a legit playoff team, though.
Now,
No, they were before. They were probably favorites to win that division.
no, because the Brewers were a thing.
No, Brewers are not that. Outside of like Yelich and Lorenzo Cain, not really much in the bats. Don't really have a good starting rotation. They have Josh Hader in the bullpen, but that's about it.
They just, like, last year, the Brewers seemed to be, like, you know, killing it.
Oh yeah.
But, I don't know.
Well, they lost in the wild card round, so they really weren't that good.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, any team that would have made it out of the three that were in the race for the wild card round probably would have lost because it was the Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Brewers.
Yeah. And to be fair, they did end up losing to the eventual world champions.
Oh,
You're welcome,
Never do.
Washington.
Yep. No one wore his hat.
They
That's
did.
how
I will forever claim myself as the reason that the Nats won the title.
Hey, and you keep doing that.
I'm going to. No one can change my mind.
Yo, it's kind of interesting to think about how Washington has 2 championships in sports.
Yeah.
But then there are the other 2 sports leagues that they have, you know, teams in. They have like the exact opposite. They have just dog shit for teams.
Yeah. Well,
The Wizards and the Washington football team.
Well, the Washington football team historically has been a fairly
Yeah,
solid
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying
Historically.
in recent years.
Oh, recently it was awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
one of the worst run teams in sports right now.
Yeah. But, I don't know, man. What are you gonna do?
cancel the MLB and hope NFL players take it more serious?
Because there's a slight chance, Ben, that the Cubs might actually do good, so Chicago can do something. I'm just not.
So can the whole MLB, just can it off. Not
No.
worth at this point.
No, don't.
Might as well.
Might as well.
Not hurting nobody.
Don't worry, people will have a new sport to watch here soon when the NFL comes back.
Or a different football league comes back.
I don't see the XFL coming back this year.
Oh, not this year, but it is coming back.
Oh,
Dwayne Pot, the XFL.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob, for coming in clutch. That's all I'm gonna say. I already loved Dwayne Johnson as it was, but now he's my favorite human in the history of humans.
Dwayne Johnson is awesome, makes awesome shoes, and he brought back an awesome football league.
Dwayne Johnson is just an awesome person. Like, bless his soul.
Yeah, he was one of 3 buyers, right? Yeah, Danny Garcia, Dwayne Johnson, and the Redbird Capital Partners, which I'm assuming is
that's an investment firm.
Investment firm. They all combined and bought the XFL for only $15 million.
$15 million. And that makes you think, right, with Vince McMahon, he's a billionaire. If he wanted to, he could have bailed that league out easily. $15 million? It makes me wonder why if he just gave up or what.
He did give up.
Because it was successful.
Yeah.
More successful than any other startup league has been. AAFL. What's the other one? I don't know. It didn't last more than 3 weeks, but it was successful and everything. I think when Dwayne puts his hands on things, they become gold.
Yeah,
right. Anything he does,
they rock and roll.
I'm really excited. I don't obviously they haven't come out with a plan yet when they're going to come back. I presume either the next season or the season after for 2022. But I'm excited for them to come back. Whenever they do decide to come back.
And I think that is going to be a better league than when Vince McMahon ran it.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it will.
Did I say that? Vince
Yeah.
McMahon?
Wow.
You disrespected Vince McMahon.
Vincent
What?
Kennedy McMahon.
So, speaking about football that's not the NFL, college football has been on the ropes.
Yeah. Spotty based on the region.
Well, a lot of players came out with basically like a list of demands holding the
Pac-12 especially.
Yep, ransom.
Does the college football have a formal player association? Or
They do not.
No.
But do you guys want to know why the NCAA players feel like they have this much power now to do this?
Because they're going to be getting paid.
Because they're getting paid now.
Which I was against.
I was for it, and I'm also for this. To be honest,
I am too. I mean, okay, if you're going to tell me that most of the campuses, like LSU for example, you're not going to be on campus as a student, how can you expect the player to go play and just, hold their scholarships and stuff ransom for them to potentially harm themselves or their families for that matter?
I'm sure there's got to be a group of players though who want to play this season. I mean, I know you have your top stars, but there's a lot of players who need this year of college football to make a name for themselves. That if they want to get drafted this next year, they're going to want to play.
Oh, right. There's definitely those players, but the household names that if they're standing up against playing, they kind of control the narrative in a way. Like if you had Trevor Lawrence, which I don't think he'd do probably, if you had him come out against playing, it changed. It had everybody talking about it, just like everybody else.
That's kind of why I didn't want them to get paid, because that gives so much more power to these higher up players. When there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people playing college football, and they're all trying to make a name for themselves, and they're all trying to be the best, but you're giving even more power to your top stars. You're literally going to have football games where you might have a receiver and a corner line against each other, and the receiver's making a ton of money playing college football, and the other person's just trying to stay in school.
Yeah. I don't know. There's positives and tons of negatives to it, but
yeah, there's tons of both. I think the thing is too is how I always thought about it is it would have to be in a system where, obviously you just can't get. Well, first off, you only have to pay the athletes that much. First and foremost, you can give them a handout of $1,000 for all I care. That's nothing for what the schools are going to be making off of college football. If you pay 54, let's see. So let me just do some quick maths here.
54.
No, okay. Let me do some more math. Let's say the University of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. 70. So they make roughly $28 billion off their college football program. Divide that, so would it be times? The point is, it'd be a small fraction.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Less
Guys,
than
I dropped out of
1%.
college.
Whew.
I have a high school diploma.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Not a GED, but a high school diploma.
Which you can argue is a bigger deal.
Yeah.
If you want to. But yeah, college football is kind of on the edge. Along with a lot of other sports. I know there are sports talking about going in the spring versus the fall. But that's honestly just kind of delaying the inevitable at this point. But I don't know. I hope it comes back safely.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, I understand why.
Agreed.
But we might as well go to
Luckily, we will have the NFL.
Well,
Luckily, we will probably have the NFL.
There's a chance.
Luckily,
There's a
we'll
good.
have all of the reserves in the NFL playing against each other.
well,
No, well, hey, they have until Thursday
Thursday
at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. South Dakota time, Sioux Falls time, actually.
So far, there hasn't been
Any major
time zone.
ones?
There's
What's
a
that?
couple.
We own our own time zone now.
Well, I meant like
Well, what else is in
if you live
Eastern
in
South Dakota?
if you live in Rapid City, it would be 2:00 Mountain Time.
Oh, look at you.
But yeah, so players have been opting out. How many players has been 30?
Oh, there's
Really
been
more.
way more than 30.
But I don't think
I
any,
think there's just 30 from the Patriots alone.
No, there's been 8 from
including
the
Marquise
Patriots.
Lee.
1, 2, 3,
9.
4, 5, 8.
Are you sure? I thought it was 9.
Brandon Bolden, Marcus Cannon, Patrick Chung, Dante Hightower, Marquise Lee, Najee Torin, Danny Vitale, and Matt Lacrosse.
Right, only 8.
It's a lot of important players for the Patriots.
Yeah.
They tried to. They really talked to David Andrews about it.
54 players
Um,
have opted out.
he's only playing because his doctor and his wife approved. So
There's been 10 teams that have no players opt out.
The Niners,
The Niners, the
Bucks,
Bucks, the
the
Cardinals, the Chargers, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Rams,
Yeah,
the Steelers.
we're ready to play, baby.
Yeah, the Steelers being last.
yeah.
We're ready to play.
Packers have had 1.
I'm sorry, Noah, but I feel like the Patriots backups could still smack
The
them.
Broncos had a
no.
huge one, and
No,
our tackle that we
You're
just
gonna be
paid
one of our
Jawan
2
James
wins.
today.
Yeah, I saw that.
That
we'll
was
be
that was
Patriots.
huge for the Broncos. That's a big loss for the
Keep
Broncos.
We
We will.
lost
Who's gonna
our
stop that?
only free
How-
agent wide
gonna
receiver,
get
Devin
6 sacks
Funchess.
that game.
Well,
okay, so Aaron Donald's
Aaron
gonna
Rodgers
get, like,
can
10.
throw to Jordan Love.
No,
Jalen Ramsey's gonna have 2 interceptions off of whether it's Jared Stidham or Cam.
But yeah, besides, so Eddie Goldman's a big one, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Dante Hightower,
CJ
Damian
Mosley
Williams, CJ Mosley.
is a big one.
Devin Funchess is like the only help that Aaron Rodgers got.
He was our 3rd string, so I'm not that worried about it.
But still, Devin Funchess is good.
Half the Patriots team, and that's probably the big ones.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like probably the biggest actually from the Patriots though, besides Dante, would be Marcus Cannon. 'Cause
Probably.
You're having a new quarterback in your system, and you lose,
Didn't the Broncos lose an offensive lineman today?
Jawan James.
Jawan James, yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
We also lost Kyle Pico or Pecco or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds.
That's a plug and chug, though. I mean, we're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, speaking of defensive linemen, though, PJ Hill, right? I heard it said that he was cut, but then I saw something that said he was traded.
Who? PJ Hill?
Yeah, the former second overall draft pick, or not second overall, second round draft pick of the Raiders, said he was cut, and then it said he got traded to the Vikings.
I also saw that.
Wait, what happened?
So, a defensive tackle for the Raiders got cut, but then reports came out that he got traded after he'd already been cut.
What's his name?
EJL.
PJ Hill.
That is bizarre.
PJ Hall.
Hall.
That's why I'm like, I cannot find him anywhere.
Hall. That was close.
So was he traded or was he cut?
That's the question.
He was traded.
He should just show up to Vikings camp and see what they do.
Yeah.
Or was he cut by the Vikings?
Nope, he was traded. He was being released, but at the last minute they traded him to the Vikings for a 7th round conditional pick.
I'm assuming for another defensive lineman because they lost Michael Pierce to opting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just for depth there.
The Vikings front office has also been making some interesting moves.
I think they made a great move today.
Extending their GM and then extending head coach.
Zimmer, not so much. Spielman, love it. Top 5 GM in the NFL.
They also signed Neil Hunter. Well, that was last Monday, wasn't it? Last Monday or Sunday.
Neil Hunter got. It was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I feel like we talked about it last Monday because Joey got signed, and that shadowed over the fact that Janelle Hunter got signed.
Who got signed?
Joey Bosa?
Oh, that's right.
extended.
You said Joey, and I was like,
But yeah, there's some players that are opting out. There's some safety questions. I know
Are you
Odell's
opting out?
criticizing the NFL, but
What team?
then
do you
Odell
play
said he was
for
going to
nowadays?
play, so you know.
It depends on the week. I usually rotate.
Oh, that's fair.
I usually get a call every week from a team.
You do got 18 weeks.
What?
You actually got 20 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need no.
So you pretty much are signed by every team, right?
Well, just 22 of them.
Yeah, so like I'll get a call like Saturday morning and be like, "Hey, so and so went down," and then they fly me out to wherever I'm playing, play the game, star of the game, MVP, and then I go to a different team next week.
Why did they give it to Lamar and not you for MVP? If you the
You know,
MVP
I
of
thought-
every game.
I thought that too. I had no idea why. I think it's because they misspelled my name on the voting, so I think it all got all.
Oh,
fucked
it
up.
just looked like it.
Oh, they
said
thought it
Lamar
was somebody
Jackson.
else. So we're like, who's that?
Yeah, I think you wrote my name with an E instead of an O in my last name,
okay,
and then nobody
okay.
voted for me because I didn't know who I was.
That makes sense.
oh, that's a bummer.
Simple mistake.
Dang.
But well, there's some teams and some safety issues. The Saints actually are the first NFL team to actually do something proactive without the NFL's help or anything. And they're actually announced that they're renting a hotel for a team bubble. It's optional, but they are having a team bubble
I
in New Orleans.
think that is a phenomenal idea.
Oh, I love it, and I wish all the teams would do it.
I hope all the teams do it too. I was reading the Packers talked about doing something of a bubble. Their bubble might just be staying in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Which wouldn't...
Green Bay, Wisconsin is not
it's
a
so
very big
small
place.
that it
No,
makes
like
sense.
They probably would be
less,
fine.
yeah, less temptation to go do stuff, less, you know, and honestly, I was saying, if they implement a rule for that stuff, if someone like leaves their little bubble, they can't play at all. You have to be that strict. Because look what happened with baseball. They weren't strict enough, and now the whole league's getting fucked up by it.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the NBA, you can leave the bubble. We have to quarantine when we come back.
Right. But I'm saying but it's different because you have a designated place you can still go to. In the NFL, it's, you know, you're in a city, but like you're in different parts of the city. If you leave the
Right.
city, like if you leave your designated bubble, whether it's Green Bay, Wisconsin, then sorry, you're not playing. We can't risk this. We've already seen what's happened, and like we were saying, this is the NFL's opportunity to see what MLB is doing because
Right.
that's close to the format. Like the NFL has to be that strict if they want an NFL season. What's going to happen is a player's going to leave. They're going to be allowed to play. They're going to go to practice with all these other guys, and they're going to get COVID. The team they play is going to get COVID. That staff's going to get COVID. The staff's going to have a brother on a different staff that's going to have COVID.
Right. and
It's
all
just
spread.
we've seen it. It's a chain reaction, and that's what's going to happen if they're not strict about it. It's going to seem harsh, and it's going to suck for a team that if one of their superstars goes out there. But sorry, if it was that important enough to you, you would follow the rules. If it was that important to you, you would do the guidelines, stay in our little bubble. But yeah.
And I know a lot of the bigger NFL players have I know a lot of them have said that they're fully dedicated. They're going to follow all the safety precautions.
Exactly.
I know Aaron Rodgers today, and he said he's going to play, and he's going to do everything in his power to keep playing through the whole season.
Right, and coming from him, I 100% believe him.
100%. Yeah.
Right, there's like the standout guys, obviously,
Right.
that you'll trust. But then there's guys like, sadly, I'm going to mention Odell.
I was going to say Odell too. I was also thinking I was going to say Odell, and you took words out of my mouth.
There's guys like Odell who I don't know if I can trust.
I do not trust
to not leave the
Cleveland.
city.
Yeah, especially Cleveland. He hates it.
Especially when he goes down to Miami to party before playoff games. Yeah, I mean, granted, he handled last year in Cleveland well.
As well as he could, I feel.
But then
he's been a trooper in
the
Cleveland.
Same issue this year. I don't feel like Odell's going to be committed to sticking it out.
I will give OBJ all his props. He has been a trooper in Cleveland, and he obviously hates it there. It's not. It's too small for him. New York was perfect for OBJ, but the team got dysfunctional, as did he. That's just how OBJ operates. When the Giants in his rookie and sophomore year, when they were good and they were a functional franchise, OBJ was fine. He needs to have solidarity in a football team, and Cleveland doesn't bring that. They could bring it a lot better this year. Kevin Stefanski is the coach, but that's not a guarantee because it is the Cleveland Browns.
Speaking of our star players, some of the best in the league, I know we mentioned it a lot last week on our podcast, but the NFL Top 100 list concluded this last Wednesday, and it was not great. Not very great. I didn't think so, at least.
Well,
I agreed with I mostly agreed with the 10 players in there.
I did too, but not
where they were.
And I even liked the first couple. Like I knew the bottom 5 players were going to be who the bottom 5 players were, and the top 5 players who were the top 5 players. You know.
Right.
But
I guessed there was going to be Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and then Gilmore's going to be one of the bottom ones. Same with George Kittle.
I feel like I personally think that Gilmore should have been a little bit higher. That might be
because
bias,
you have a defense guy. Well, because you have so many offensive guys, you only have 2 defensive players to make the list.
You would think that they would put him higher, especially because of
he was the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, and he got put at number 9. I don't know.
Let me look at the top 10
I'm not raging over it by any means, but I don't know. I thought he probably belonged at that 6th spot.
Plain and simple, Aaron Donald should have been higher.
Aaron Donald should have been number 1.
Probably.
Patrick Mahomes should have been number 2.
At the very worst. Aaron Donald and Patrick Mahomes should have been 1 and 2.
They really should have. If you flipped me either way,
yeah,
I would have been
flip me either way. Exactly.
And then 3 would have had been Russell Wilson then.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I don't think that the 3rd to 4th, potentially 5th best quarterback in the league should have been number 1. Just because he had a good season and won MVP.
Don't get me wrong. Lamar Jackson deserves to be in the top 10. He's a really good quarterback. He's the MVP of the league.
He's a game changer.
You also got to think it's voted on by the players, though. So you see Lamar's swagger,
right? And I completely understand that. But do you really think that they're going to release this list like worldwide or whatever, and not expect us analysts to debate it or discuss it?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Lamar is defensive players just could. It was very hard for defensive players to just deal with Lamar because you think he's running against you, blitz him. He runs past you.
Yeah.
You think he's just going to run it all the time, so just run run defense.
But
then he passes.
Right, but how I would view this as a player, if you're just asking me who I think the best quarterback in the NFL is, Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the whole reason that Kansas City was able to come back from 20-point deficits back to back to back. Because Patrick Mahomes is
God tier.
He can just defeat defenses.
Yeah.
Now, I think Lamar Jackson's a top 5 quarterback, but I wouldn't put him at 1.
If I had to rank my top 5 quarterbacks right now, Mahomes, Wilson,
maybe Jackson. I would say Rodgers. I'm
honestly,
a little biased there.
Honestly, I would. I'm gonna do it, aren't I? I'm really gonna say it. Carson Wentz 3, Lamar 4, Rodgers 5. That's how I would rank it.
Okay, see, I'm a little different. I don't have Rodgers in my top 5.
And that's fair. He's older.
Yeah, but I have Lamar still at 3.
Okay.
So obviously,
Who's your
Mahomes, Wilson, Lamar. I have Carson chilling at 5. Who did I have at number 4?
But not off top, but like.
Jared Stidham.
Oh, sorry, no, Jared Stidham's number 1. That's what it is.
By the way, though, speaking of Russell Wilson, love that Russell Wilson's finally getting the recognition he deserved, by the way. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say about it. He deserves... Like, honestly, Wilson at 2 doesn't make me mad. He deserves it. He's been great. In terms of, like, most valuable, Russell Wilson was the most valuable player in the NFL last year.
Russell Wilson has carried his team harder than Aaron Rodgers has.
Yes, very much so.
Last year, yes. Over his career, no. Aaron Rodgers...
Well, I'm saying over the past few years. Like, the past handful of years.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that personally.
Because Russell Wilson's been able to make it to the playoffs
with a
very close to the playoffs with not a very good team.
Russell Wilson's never missed the playoffs, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he might have.
Never missed the playoffs. Never had a losing season.
I mean, you saw the honestly, third-ranked Packers in 2017.
Yeah. But also, look, I mean, and like I said, I think this just shows the value of both of them. Aaron Rodgers went down. Packers, they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They were not fair. They needed overtime to beat what would have been a winless Cleveland team.
Yeah. I randomly still have Breeze at number 4.
And that's a fair thing. My biggest thing with Breeze is because I know late in the year, once he gets tired because he's older, he just doesn't play very well. Because I just have that sitting in the back of my mind.
See, the thing with the whole Breeze Rodgers thing, I people give Rodgers so much crap because he's more of a game manager now. Breeze is too. Breeze is more of a game manager.
See, and I would actually disagree that Rodgers is necessarily the game manager.
I don't think he is either.
Aaron Rodgers has never been a risk taker. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, though, he's always just been such a talented quarterback that where he's not a risk taker, but he's still putting up 30-plus touchdowns a season. That's just how he is.
He still makes the big-time throws. I actually just saw a stat while we were recording. Most completed big-time throws down the field. Rodgers and Wilson were both tied for number 1 at 15. Yep. You know who was second? Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
It went Rodgers and Wilson at 15, Carson Wentz at 14.
And what's the similarity with all those quarterbacks? They all basically have to just carry these just not saying Green Bay is miserable, but before this year they were not a very good football team. And they were an Aaron Rodgers injury away from missing on because they made the NFC Championship last year because they actually had a defense.
Yeah, our defense was great this year.
Oh yeah, Green Bay's defense. Like I said, they were middle of the pack, ended up record wide, but they had some talented players. Mm-hmm. But a couple years prior, they really didn't have that many talented players in defense.
I think honestly, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, I think they all have very similarities on not only how they play, but their role in their team, because they all carry their team.
Yes,
and
very much so.
Their team has had great players in the past, both defensively and offensively.
Right.
And they've all won Super Bowls here in this last one, not Carson Wentz, but the Eagles.
Technically not.
Technically not Carson Wentz.
I know.
But I think all of them they're all a very similar type of quarterback, and I think that Aaron Rodgers, obviously being Aaron Rodgers, the older one, but I can see Carson Wentz having a career like Aaron Rodgers.
I very much could too. And like I said, and I honestly don't really worry about the injury things anymore because he hasn't had a knee injury since his ACL tear in 2017. The back issue has never been a reoccurring thing. And again, cheap shots like that won't happen on the right. He took a cheap shot. Should not have happened. Had that not happened, had they not done that, there's a good chance Philly could have played for the AFC or for the NFC Championship game because they would have played Green Bay. They beat them that year prior. I mean, obviously we don't know how that game would have went, but that would have been a close football game, a game that Philly could have won.
Aaron Rodgers still beat Seattle in the playoffs, though.
He did.
I don't know if
this just
again with Jamal there.
Oklahoma AD Joe Castiglione said that Sooners still plan to play against Texas at Cotton Bowl.
So, speaking of Carson Wentz being a slightly younger guy, the NFL released a all under 25 team. When was this released? Just last week?
So I saw the thing here this last week. According to the link, it was May that they released it, but they just put the graphics up
recently
on Instagram the other day, so I know we didn't visit it.
Yeah, so, I mean, looking at this list, it's pretty, you can probably guess it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, Mahomes being the quarterback for this team. Is Carson Wentz under 25? Or is he over 25?
Carson Wentz, he is under 25, I believe. Well, actually, let me look.
I mean, either way, Mahomes would still...
He's 27.
Yeah, he's 27.
Otherwise, this list seems pretty standard.
Yeah.
McCaffrey and Barkley as your running backs makes sense. Godwin and Sutton makes sense as your wide receivers. Nick Chubb there in the flex. Nick Chubb proved last year he was amazing.
Right.
Mark Andrews is your tight end. Offensive line, Orlando Brown and Braden Smith?
Yep.
Who's he play for?
Plays for Indianapolis. An
Colts.
underrated offensive line.
Yeah, Colts have an amazing offensive line, especially with his partner right there, Quentin
Yep.
Nelson. Elgton Jenkins is a name that you might not know.
I was a little surprised to see that.
I have a fun stat for you about Elgton Jenkins, if you give me 1 second.
Okay.
He is a Packers rookie that they drafted this last year, so this was his first year.
Off topic, but I hate all these, it's cake. I hate
Oh,
it.
me too.
I hate it so much.
But I have to watch him.
I have to, yes.
So,
What the fuck is going on here, Noah?
if you don't know...
What on earth is this?
Monday Night Raw.
This cannot be it. This cannot be,
So if you
So
don't
he's basically
Raw
Fight Club
getting
now.
a little raw.
So this is basically just a WWE version of freaking Fight Club.
Fight Club with the strip club attached.
What the fuck?
They had some lady from The Bachelorette on here.
So, you guys might
Somebody's
not
going
know
downhill.
who Elgton Jenkins is, but you're going to know his name. Because last year, there was five guards in the NFL that played more than 10 games and didn't allow a sack. Zach Martin, Quinton Spain, Grant Glasso, Quentin Nelson, and Elgton James. Among those, Elgton James had the least amount of QB hits, only allowing one QB hit last year. He played
Packers guy, right?
Every single game. Yep, he was a second-round pick in 2019. He was phenomenal last year. He was the highest-rated... I think he was the second highest-rated offensive lineman, rookie offensive lineman.
Aaron Rodgers got sacked, I believe it was 12 less times this last year.
Yeah, and he's a great addition with our already pretty solid offensive line.
Yeah, not solid.
Actually, PFF ranked it the 4th or 5th best line for this next year.
Right, a lot of that's carried by him and David Bakhtiari,
Bakhtiari.
who's a top 3 left tackle.
We also have Corey Linsley, our center, has been in the top 10 centers his entire career for the PFF. And then, obviously, we have the new guy. Was it Wagner? The defensive tackle we got from Detroit? Whatever the fucking name is.
I don't know.
Anyway, we have a good offensive line, is what I'm trying to say, and Elgton Jenkins is very good.
Yeah, moving on to the team. Our center is Eric McCoy from the Saints. 3rd ranked run blocking score on PFF. So that's pretty cool. And then defense, you can probably guess these no problem for the most part. Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, Kenny Clark,
Kenny Clark's amazing.
Dexter Lawrence. A little surprised to see him there. But
Rick Wagner was the guy I was thinking of. Tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's Leighton Vander Esch,
Yeah.
Bobby Okere, and then Marshawn Lattimore, Marlon Humphrey, Jamal Adams, newly a Seahawk, Mika Fitzpatrick, Derwin James, and then that special teams, Joey Sly, Jamie Gillen, and then you can probably guess the return man, the Saints guy,
It's not even close.
Deontay Harris.
Gary Price has 28 saves going in the 3rd period.
Yep.
But it's
Favorite
cool.
price, best ball in the league.
I honestly am perfectly fine with all these players.
Yeah.
Nobody upsets me at all.
Darius Leonard made it, right?
Yeah.
He was a linebacker.
Did I say it?
Yeah, you did.
He should
Yeah.
be if he didn't.
Yeah, he made it.
Okay, good. 'Cause he's-
Yeah, I have no major issues of this list.
No, I think there's some good players on there. I think a lot of those will be will be the next wave of NFL stars.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. Well, you ready to move on to the last part of our
I am. So for franchise mode, I have the New York Jets, a team that has gotten drastically worse in the last week or two.
Yeah.
Losing C.J. Mosley to opting out and trading Jamal Adams, arguably their two best defensive players.
Yeah.
And you cut Quincy Enunwa.
Apparently, I was actually reading he had complications with his neck injury. Was it?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It is too bad, and I wish him well, but he's no longer a Jet. So the Jets, they not looking for too good defensive line.
I honestly can't name 5 players on the Jets. I don't think right now.
I will tell you a lot about a lot of players.
I can name Darnold.
Well, there's Darnold, Lev Bell. There's there's Bradley
McDougal, I guess now.
Yeah.
Jameson Crowder, Rashad Perriman, Denzel Mims, Frank Gore.
I guess when I think
I
about
forgot
it.
Frank Gore was on
Yes,
there.
Frank Gore is the new backup second running back.
So he'll get a lot of carries.
Yeah.
There's
Brian Poole,
Brian
Williamson.
Poole, Avery Williamson. There's a defensive tackle that I just forgot his name, but he's good.
Steve McLendon and Florenzo Fatuski as their starting tackles. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with the offense. Honestly, the Jets' offense is not my biggest concern right now.
Really?
I know a lot of people are calling for Sam Darnold's head. They just signed a new backup, and Joe Flacco is going to be their backup quarterback. Flacco!
As long as he's not in Denver, I don't care.
I'm not ready to give up on Sam Darnold. I think
He's number 8 on the throw power. Joe
Oh, yeah.
Flacco is.
Oh, Joe Flacco is.
What?
Yeah.
Did you see Joe Flacco on the Broncos last year?
Oh,
He
yeah.
couldn't even throw it 5 yards to Philip Lindsay.
As Tyler the Creator once said, oh, yeah.
so. I'm not ready to give up on Sam Darnold yet. I think.
That's fair.
I think.
Not either.
I have a theory.
I think he's not been put in the best situation with the
No, he
Jets.
really hasn't.
I don't think Adam Gase has necessarily shown he's the best coach for the Jets.
I agree.
I think they have not put any really weapons around him other than
Wow.
Lev Bell.
Wow.
I think their offensive line, which was ranked 28th last year, is
Agreed.
atrocious.
Agreed.
They did make improvements to the O-line this offseason.
They did make improvements. So Sam Darnold, running game, I think running game will be fine with Lev Bell and Frank Gore there. I think Lev Bell will have a slightly better season, but I think Frank Gore defies time, and Frank Gore will be good as a second running back. Their starting wide receivers, as of right now, aren't amazing. It's not the worst group in the NFL, I don't think, but they're definitely no superstars. Their starters are going to be Jameson Crowder, Rashad Perriman, and Denzel Mims are the starting 3.
I'm curious, who's the worst in the NFL then?
I don't know. Giants, maybe?
The worst.
Oh,
the
that's-
worst what?
Receiver group.
I mean,
Well, they at least have Sterling Shepard.
and Darius Slayton's
No, honestly,
not
Jets.
bad.
Yeah, no, I would honestly say the Jets probably have the worst receiving core in the NFL.
Do you hear the names I was read off?
Read them again.
Jameson Crowder, Rashad Perriman, Denzel Mims. There's 1, 2, and 3.
I mean, I can't. I mean, honestly, give me the only roster I could really think of would be Jacksonville would have a worse receiving core.
But
They
they
have
have
DJ
But they have DJ Chark, but they also have to rely on a rookie.
That's true.
And Denzel Mims is a rookie.
Anyway, even though it's not a great group, I don't think it's their main area of concern. I think that their main area of concerns are their offense and defensive line. So with their offense,
I think the whole team's a concern.
what?
I think the whole team's
The whole team is a concern, but the major concern, which is the offensive line, like 28th last year. They added Mekhi Becton, who's going to be one of their starting tackles. They also added their other starting tackle, George Fant, who's a Seahawk. So they're both new additions to tackles. In the guard area, Alex Lewis is their starting left guard. He's bad. He's never, in his tenure, has never been rated over 60, according to PFF, which is not very good. And their other guard, who was Brian Winter, is being replaced by Greg Van Rotten, who was a Panther for the last couple of years. Have you known him?
He's pretty good. He's solid.
He's solid. This is his sixth team since he's been in the league. He was an undrafted free agent by the Packers. He's on the Seahawks. He played for the Toronto Argonauts for a season. He was on the Jags, and then the Panthers, and now the Jets. He's subpar. His PFF rating the last couple of years has been close to Brian Winters, kind of that mid-60s.
Yeah.
He's not somebody...
He is a starter in the NFL.
He's barely a starter in the NFL.
That's about all you can say. He's a starter in the NFL.
You wouldn't choose him first, for sure, but if he ended up on your team, it wouldn't be the worst guy. He's not the worst person on the line.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they also added, so their lines can be pretty much all new. The only returning starter is Alex Lewis, because their new center, Connor McGovern, was the center for the Broncos the last couple of years. He's going to be their new center.
Wasn't that fantastic? There's a reason he's not on the Broncos.
Yeah, so it's not a great line overall. Again, it is 4 brand new players,
And,
so we'll see if they can step forward.
Mekhi Becton is a huge risk because he's a big body guy, but he's incredibly slow.
So their line, I think it got a little bit better because again it's 4 new guys. But
Well, it got better.
Well,
it's not gonna be good.
They haven't worked together ever, so
No.
did it really get better?
No.
Because at least the other guys had a little chemistry.
Well, yeah, no, but these guys are at least better. On paper, they should be better.
Right.
So I still think the weakest link though is their actually only returning jet and Alex Lewis. Last year he was rated a 55 for PFF. That's awful.
Out of centers?
No, his rating was a 55. Like he was the 55th ranked.
Yeah, first position, right?
Yeah, he's a guard. Yes.
Oh.
No, he's bad. He's never been over 60 in his career for his rating. I think the player that they could add to offense right now would be Larry Warford, the Saints guard. Obviously, he's a better guard. He could be a starter in the NFL. He was cut by the Saints for a cap reason, not necessarily because he was bad.
Trade for Riley Reef.
Yeah,
Better than what you have.
better than what you have is not looking very good. Their defense was actually not that bad last year. They were 7th in allowed yards per game. They were middle of the pack in rush defense, and they were on the lower 10 for pass defense.
Yeah, a lot of that was because of Jamal Adams. C.J. Mosley is on their team too. He's opted out.
Yeah, he has. So honestly, even with Jamal Adams gone, safeties isn't their biggest concern. Bradley McDougall is going to be a plug-and-play starter.
Yeah.
And Marcus May is their other guy who was drafted at the same time as Jamal Adams. He had a pretty productive season last year.
Not terrible.
He's definitely not bad. He's definitely not the worst defensive back on this team.
Oh, easy.
Their starting quarterback, Brian Poole, who actually was the 10th highest-ranked corner last year.
Yeah, Brian Poole's good.
He's good. He is primarily a slot corner, but they're going to use him a lot this year.
Right.
Their other starting is going to be Pierre Desir,
who's been a journeyman. I remember we talked about him. He's been kind of a journeyman guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's had some good moments.
So he's going to be their number 2. He had an okay year last year, 3 picks. Not phenomenal, but he's not the worst defensive back on here. And the other defensive back is Blasan Austin, who's an undrafted free agent. So their cornerbacks are going to be
Not great.
People are going to be able to throw against this team.
Yeah.
I don't see.
And who's going to go get the quarterback?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that guy.
For the linebackers, obviously they lose C.J. Mosley. They do get Avery Williamson, who was hurt all last year. He's going to come back. And they also brought in Patrick Onwuasor. I know a butchered name. He was a Raven last year. He is supposed to be the other interior line.
What does their defensive line look like?
Not great.
Oh.
It's the whole team's not very great. Defensive tackling really is probably their strongest group on the whole defense.
Okay.
Steve McGlendon is their starter. He had a PFF grade of 81 last year, which puts him 12th among defensive tackles, which is bad. And the rookie last year, Lorenzo Fatuski, I know I butchered, nose tackle, he actually was the 10th rated defensive lineman last year per PFF.
Do you have their pass rushing grades on there?
No, I don't. I'm not a PFF subscriber, so no, I do not.
I am.
And then for the defense end, one of them is Henry Anderson, who was the 100th ranked defensive end last year. He is the 100th ranked defensive lineman last year, and he's a starter in the NFL. There was 99 defensive linemen better than him.
That's awful.
So on the defense line, he is the weak spot. Potential player you could sign, maybe Everson Griffin, come in as a defensive end and fill that hole. But their other defensive end is Quinn Williams, who was their rookie last year.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to think of.
He did not.
He didn't play very good.
No, he ended up with 2.5 sacks and 6 quarterback hits. He was actually pretty decent in the run game. He had a pretty decent run.
Which is how he was at Alabama.
But not great sack-wise. So I think, well, this team needs a lot of players. It really needs a couple offensive linemen, a receiver, probably another 1 or 2 more quarterbacks, another linebacker, and more defensive linemen.
Or Sam Darnold.
Poor Sam Darnold, yeah, no. He's kind of put in the worst situation he could possibly be in.
Because at least Danny Dimes has some good receivers, and, well, Danny Dimes doesn't have it. He at least has Saquon.
So I think the biggest hole is being defensive end and then offensive guard. Lair Warford and Everson Griffin are two people they can bring in right now to be plug and play. But I'm not expecting a whole lot from the Jets team this next year.
Would you I understand it's like ultimately his decision why he's not in right now. But like, would you maybe just be like, hey, Kevin Byard?
I mean, they could use everything. There's not a position where the Jets could go out and sign somebody tomorrow where they probably wouldn't be feeling a need.
Right.
I expect them to be third in the division this year. I think it's going to go Bills, Patriots, Jets. I'm thinking maybe 6 wins, that area, 5 wins. We'll kind of see.
Okay, we're doing okay.
Well,
not amazing.
But did you
not
hear?
bit.
Did you read about? I think it was Noah that was projecting the Jets' plan earlier today.
Yeah, I saw a little bit that they are going to try to make a move for Trevor Lawrence.
I think they're going to put themselves in that position.
I could see that. If I were the GM, I would take those high draft picks and I would build around Sam Darnold.
I agree.
I would grab another offensive lineman, another weapon.
But how often do we see in today's NFL where windows are short? Your window is quick.
Time.
People are just quick to change their mind.
All the time.
All the time.
And
it won't be Sam Darnold's fault, but it's like they may just see it and be like, okay, where's the production? Where's the getting better? Even though he has shown signs of being good.
But would Sam Darnold turn into the next Josh Rosen?
No, because Sam Darnold would get signed by a team and could be a starter right out of the gate. Like, he could go to a lot of NFL teams. Like, he could be the Jaguars starter right now. He could be, I know they have Danny Dimes, but he could be the Giants starter right now. He could be Patriots.
Redskins.
Steelers need a QB.
Oh,
Saints need to think about a QB if they're not riding with Jameis Winston.
Is Philip Rivers the long-term answer?
Is Philip Rivers the long-term answer? Again, is Philip Rivers the long-term answer? Which he's not, because he's not long-term. You could honestly make a case. I was going to say a team, but I forgot. Dang it. Oh, I mean, no, never mind. I'm not going to say that team anymore. I was going to say Carolina, but I'm like, Teddy would be.
They got Teddy.
They have Teddy. I was trying to say it could be a QB battle. I'm like, nah, Teddy's better. But.
So I think the Jets are probably going to go win 5 or 6 games. They'll probably be one of the worst teams in the NFL, and they'll probably get a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah. Ew.
How many top 10 draft picks are going to be in the AFC East? I'm guessing 3.
I would say
top 10 draft picks.
I'm guessing 3 in the AFC East.
Because I'm sure the Patriots, even if the Patriots go 8-8, even if the Patriots go 8-8, that won't be a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
Even
and
if the Patriots go 7-9, I think they'll be like.
That.
And then
I don't see the Patriots winning more than 3 games.
And I will say this:
one of them's going to be the Rams.
Whoa! Hold on.
I think both the Jets and the Dolphins will be a top 10 draft pick this next year.
Yeah, I would agree.
And you could probably guess the other teams in the top 10. It's probably the Jags, and the Giants, the Redskins,
Lions,
the Panthers will probably be in the top 10.
Bengals will have a shot.
I don't know if the Panthers will be in the top 10.
I think their offense is going to be good.
Their defense will not be.
No.
That's basically what Carolina is. They're going to either win a lot of They're going to win and lose a lot of shootouts. That's how they're going to play.
It does suck for Carolina that they have to play against the newly recharged Tampa Bay, as well as
New
the
Orleans
Saints, and then the
Atlanta.
Falcons,
yeah.
who have been,
But
really good in divisional games.
But to be fair, and well, I'm saying all about Ryan, but I think he's a top 10 QB in the NFL. But honestly, though, with Carolina offensively, I think they can put themselves in position to win some shootouts, to put up some points. And you may not believe that with Teddy Bridgewater, but I mean,
I can believe it with Christian McCaffrey.
I can believe it with giving him McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. I can believe it if you give him those weapons with a recharged offensive
Robbie
line.
Anderson.
I forgot about Robbie Anderson.
You forgot about Robbie Anderson.
I forgot about Robbie Anderson.
So, looking at the Jets this next season, the only other comment I'll add is if the Jets regress, if the Jets have 4 less wins, they need to fire Adam Gase.
Yeah,
There's already been so many Jets fans calling for it. They're saying he's not using Lil Bell right. There's been
I hated when they hired him.
More than just the Jamal Adams. There's been a lot of talk about him not being a good leader. There's been a lot of locker room drama with that team. This is Adams Gate's last year, and he needs.
Yeah, no, this is his last year regardless, unless they win the Super Bowl.
I don't know if the Jets go out and they win 8 or 9 games. I think Adam Gase will keep his job, but
he's gone. He's gone after this year.
I actually did think for the wide receiver core that is worse than the Jets.
Who?
Patriots.
No. Patriots. Well,
maybe the Patriots.
A little bit.
Julian Edelman.
But they have Julian Edelman. I full-heartedly believe that N'Keal Harry is going to do good. And
I do too.
if Jarrett Stidham wins the QB battle, which it probably is unlikely, Jacoby Myers will be good. But besides the point, the Las Vegas Raiders, their number 2 receiver right now is Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson Aguilar, Henry Ruggs, a rookie.
Oh, I forgot about Henry Ruggs.
The guy that
William, right?
Jason Witten is the tight end.
Well,
Darren Waller will be the starting tight end. Darren Waller will be the starting tight end, though.
They have a good 2 tight end system, but
we're talking about wide
receivers.
I mean, if you're relying on a rookie, not even the best
Renfro. Renfro's their number 1.
Hunter Renfro's good.
So
Hunter Renfro, I like.
I can see the Patriots being the worst wide receiver group just because I know Julian Edelman is their guy, but Julian Edelman's not playing with Tom Brady anymore, and Julian Edelman had a special.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, you still have Mohamed Sanu and N'Keal Harry who can still flourish. So it'll be interesting.
Jacoby Myers had pop-ups. No, I'm serious.
I'm just
from the 5th string receiver spot, Jacoby Myers had better stats than N'Keal Harry.
Who has the best receiving core in the NFL?
Not the New England Patriots, that's for sure.
I mean,
it would either be Arizona or Tampa Bay.
I would have to say Tampa Bay.
I could say maybe the Falcons with Julio and
but I say it's got to be Tampa.
Yeah.
I could still give it to Arizona.
DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk
and Larry Fitzgerald.
Are
we forgetting Larry Fitzgerald is a thing here, Noah?
I will still take Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
He is our SighSquadPod bracket winner.
Yeah. I'd take Tampa. I would take Tampa.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if you have, what a lot of people would argue is the best wide receiver in the league, paired up with somebody who's been great historically, as well as a
Christian
young
Kirk
gun.
as a solid number 2.
Yeah. Because think, Larry Fitzgerald is kind of played the slot from the outside, and now he's going to probably be in the slot.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Mike Evans is arguably a top 5 receiver in his own right, and Chris Godwin's just made the All-25
team. I feel like Mike
and
Evans,
he's a rising star.
I feel like Mike Evans is honestly one of the most underrated
I 100%
receivers.
agree. I think Mike Evans is probably a top 5 receiver. He's insanely good.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get. I mean, he'll get the respect this year because Tom Brady. What's that?
It's a maybe top 5.
Yeah, let's see. So because you got your
it'd be Julio, D-Hop,
Michael Thomas.
I think Devontae Adams is top 5.
Yeah, I could see it.
Tyreek Hill maybe top 5, and then Mike Evans maybe top 5.
See, I would put Mike Evans in my top 5. I would put Mike Evans over Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill's one ability is just zoom.
So
to be fair, Mike Evans' one ability is he's just going to be more physical than you. Kind of same thing with Julio.
Yeah, but he's also an exceptional route runner.
That is true. That's true.
Not that Tyreek Hill isn't, but again, Tyreek
Hill is zoom, but he also does have some ball carrier moves.
He does. But that's after he goes zoom, and then boom, and then zoom.
Yeah. He's just really fast.
He's just insanely fast. And to be honest, there's not kind of off topic, but there's really, I will say, as he's not the best receiver in the NFL, but he changes game plans more than any receiver in the NFL. Because no one can guard him one-on-one with that speed.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Deshaun Jackson. Obviously, not President Deshaun Jackson, but
I get what you're saying, though.
heyday Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Can't guard him one-on-one because he's too fast. You have to change the safety protocol, and then it's like, okay, well, and especially with Kansas City, you're going against this guy named Patrick Mahomes. Don't know if you ever heard of him. He's pretty good. Then it's like, oh, shoot, we still got to worry about Sammy Watkins. We still got to worry about Nico Hardman. Like, Kansas City's got too many weapons, though.
Well, you ready to spin for the week?
Whose turn is it this week?
Whose turn is it? I don't know.
Noah, isn't it?
Let's go!
Noah. Yep.
All right.
Come on. Bears or Rams, baby. Come on.
Come on, it's my bad.
Oh, you got to change that Washington one, though. Come on.
Let the Redskins
Come on.
Washington football.
Stop! No!
Titans.
I was so close to the Rams. Okay, I'll take Tennessee. That'll be fun. That'll be cute.
So
Not
how
a
many
lot.
te-
Not
Because
a
you
lot.
have a Super Bowl team?
So how many teams are left then, Duncan?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So we get one more full rotation. Everybody will have 2 more. Well, no, because Brendon has to go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go,
I
that
literally
changed that.
am messing it up. Otherwise,
But actually, that does mean everybody will have 2 more goes around because then.
Oh, shoot.
at least.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to get...
No, because we'll go around twice, but then you won't get to go. It'll be last one will be Noah.
Oh, true.
So everybody has 2 more go arounds.
Gosh, I love that the two. So I'm guaranteed. So I get one more go around, right?
You get 2 more.
2.
I want the Bears and the Rams. Those are the 2 teams I want.
I want the Bears.
Literally, I think everyone wants the Bears.
I want the Rams now just because no one wants the Rams.
Oh, I want the Rams. But,
Oh.
but I want the Bears so bad because
I really don't want the Rams.
I'll take the Bears. I think it'd be fun.
You know, I'd take any team except for the Rams, actually.
You guys realize the Rams are like not as bad as you guys think they are.
I want the
Right?
Bills.
No,
Yeah.
they're not bad, but
I
They're going to have a better
much
record
to
than
do
the
with them
Patriots.
right
They're just
now.
going to
Not
have
really,
to
we don't
lose
have any
to
money.
the Patriots.
Well, we're not going to lose to the Patriots, so
I actually want the Bills instead. So you guys can have.
They're going to split with Seattle.
the Rams.
Oh, wait, no, Seattle's got Jamal Adams now.
Nah, they could still split.
No, it's not happening.
They could still
Well-
split.
Unless an injury happens, that's not happening.
Nope, they could still split.
Well, so Noah, you're discussing
Cubs gonna run.
Tennessee Titans next week?
I am discussing the Tennessee Titans
Alright.
next week.
Well, I think that ends it for this week's episode.
I think it does too.
Make
Yes,
sure
sir.
you follow us on social media at SighSquadPod.
Do it.
For the SighSquad podcast, I'm Duncan.
And then.
I'm Noah.
And I'm the hockey expert yet again, keeping my reign.
That's Brendon.